Welcome to the Purpose Chasers podcast, where those who refuse to let odds or naysayers stand in their way come to chase and catch their true calling. I'm your host, Mark Crandall. In each episode, we shine a spotlight on artists and musicians who dare to dream bigger. You'll hear the real-world tactical moves these Purpose Chasers have taken to carve out their legacies, and I'll break down the marketing strategies you can swipe and implement today. Let's dive in and start chasing our purpose. Don't forget to leave a follow on Spotify or wherever you stream from. Let's dive into this episode. Purpose Chasers, welcome back to episode 113. And in this episode, I am going to break down the hierarchy of needs as it relates to you and or me, the entrepreneur, the business owner. And this is a loaded one, and something that is still unfolding for me, even as I record this episode. So this is a an ongoing awakening that I have been having. And, there's some realizations that unfolded for me in the preparing for this episode and kind of outlining the direction. So before I get into it, I'm going to outline the hierarchy of needs one more time for you in case you didn't listen to episode 112. So the bottom of the pyramid is physiological needs. The second stage is safety needs. The third stage is love and belonging. Fourth stage, esteem. And then the final stage that everyone consciously or subconsciously is seeking to arrive at is the self-actualization stage. And so obviously physiological, you have air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, etc. Safety needs, personal security, employment, resources, health, property, love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection, esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, and freedom. Self-actualization, the desire to become the most that one can be. You cannot be in multiple stages at once. Each stage, or whatever stage you're in, is the motivator driving your human behavior. So whether you are consciously aware of it, subconsciously unaware of it, your whatever stage in the hierarchy you are in, or your employees are in, or other individuals are in, it is the motivating factor driving human behavior. Again, want to start this episode off by giving a shout out to Abraham Maslow for dropping his theory of the hierarchy of needs. He's one of the real OGs of the psychology of human behavior. As I discussed in the previous episode, I believe that all human behavior is motivated based on whichever stage of the hierarchy the individual is attempting to feed. Well, as entrepreneurs, we are very similar to our employees or our team members, but altogether way more complicated and compounded. The entrepreneur's behavior is not only driven by where they themselves as an individual is on the hierarchy of needs. They're driven by where their business or businesses are, and also driven by each individual team member. So to arrive at a stage arrive at, you can edit that, Cody. Arrive at a higher stage of the hierarchy, whether it be partners in your business or employees, whichever state. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, man, edit's coming on this one. I'm gonna start back with this paragraph. Their behavior is not only driven by where they are individually on the hierarchy, but it is also driven by where their businesses are at and where each team member is at, whether it be partners in their business or employees within. Those individuals or the circumstances within your companies will bring you down to a lower level of the hierarchy of needs. So to start, let's dive into business. Here, the hierarchy roller coaster is speeding down the track. There are so many variables that affect what stage the owner is within the hierarchy. I'll share some examples that can bring you from the top of, to self-actualization all the way down to safety within one text message or email. Your supplier emails you that you missed a $60,000 payment on a couple jobs that got dropped. Well, if your company is experiencing cash flow issues, which many do, you immediately shoot to the bottom and start thinking the world is on fire and where am I going to live and what will I eat? How am I going to make payroll and what will my employees eat? Through my own business, through my own businesses and the consulting of countless others, I believe that there are 4 main contributing factors that keep an entrepreneur out of the lower 3 levels of the hierarchy of needs. So if you're looking for value bombs, this is brand new realizations that I've come with. I have not seen anyone share these insights. So let's get into it. So, number 1, cash flow. Number 2, paying yourself. Number 3, chain of command / leadership. And number 4, systems. If these 4 things are not truly dialed in within your company, you will be on the hierarchy roller coaster, if you will. And guess what? You don't even have to pay admission to the ride. It's going to cost you, well, you do have to pay admission. It's going to cost you a lot of nights sleep. It's going to cost you your sanity. It's going to cost you a lot of potential profit. It's going to cost you business relationships. It's going to cost you employees. So let's dive into it and break each one of these 4 down. So starting with cash flow. Healthy cash flow is basic business math. Not going to preach on this because I know that most listening to this fully understand it. What does the product or service cost me to fulfill? What's the company overhead to fulfill the product or service? What's the margin over these that I'm hoping to profit? And what's the lead time on collecting payment for the product or service? That is the definition of cash flow. It does shock me how many entrepreneurs are so disconnected from this basic math. The shock is that I can't imagine who would want to run a business while their behavior is dictated by attempting to feed their physiological or safety needs, which is going to happen if you're having cash flow issues. You're going to be living on the bottom tiers of the hierarchy because you're never going to have stability to create or to fulfill the needs in those 2, maybe 3 lower levels to get up the hierarchy to esteem and self-actualization. And if you're living that way, you're better off becoming an employee for a company that has these dialed in. It surely would be better for your sanity. Number 2, paying yourself. So paying yourself first is something most entrepreneurs do not do. Well, some entrepreneurs overpay themselves, which contributes to cash flow issues, but that's another topic in and of itself. I attribute a lot of the job costing and payout formula that I use in all of my companies and with my consulting clients to the book Profit First, which I modified to ensure that my own companies and the companies that I consult are ensuring more than their overhead is rolling back into the company while paying themselves off every job completed. You can have a multi-million-dollar company, but if the owners are not getting paid, they could very easily be on the hierarchy roller coaster, never to experience the actual benefits of self-actualization, which is why most entrepreneurs step out into the business world anyways. There is a deep reason usually associated with some aspects of self-actualization, of the self-actualization stage of the hierarchy for individuals to launch businesses. Number 3, the chain of command. So the chain of command is broken up into two main issues. Number one, yes, I believe the open door policy is amazing. If the door opens inside of inside of productive times, it will surely throw you down the hierarchy faster than you can shake a stick. Containers need to be put in place to protect the time devoted to completing the core tasks by the owner. Core tasks are the needle movers that push the company forward. One phone call about this or that, one text, one email will send me down a rabbit hole of unproductive things fast as hell. Second issue in chain of command is that the owner cannot have everyone calling with every issue in the company. Nothing productive will get completed, and the owner will constantly bang off the bottom of the hierarchy of needs. Pulled into all the problems will bring you down faster than anything else. A chain of command or order of business needs to be put in place. This comes with staff training and coaching to be able to, for your staff or your team to be able to handle these problems. It also means teaching your team members the difference between an immediate problem and an issue that needs to be addressed in the near future. If you, as the owner, treat everything as if it's an immediate crisis, your team members will also treat everything as it's an immediate crisis. If your team relies on you for solutions to everything and you never trained and or empowered them to problem solve, then they're going to come to you with every stinking problem in your company, expecting you to have a solution. This is the downfall of so many companies that I've been a part of and that I consult with. The chain of command is crucial. And especially when, an entrepreneur is trying to live in the esteem and self-actualization phases of the hierarchy of needs, you need to be out of the problems. You need to get removed. You need to train and empower team members to make decisions to solve problems so that you're not pulled into every single issue that arises. This transitions me into the final core issue, which is systems. So you've heard me speak tirelessly and preached this into, I've preached this into my own team and shared it tons of times on the podcast. And I pour this into the companies that I consult. A basic definition of a good system within a business is when a problem arises, you've created a process of preventing that issue from arising again. Then placing accountability on an individual or individuals to ensure that it does not happen again and that the system is followed to prevent it from happening again. Building systems without accountability is absolutely useless because there's no structure in place to ensure that the system gets followed, right? And so talking to my partner, Elijah, this week about building some systems, and he said to me, I don't know where the systems need to get built. And I'm like, all right, well, outline the top 5 problems that we're experiencing. Okay. This is a problem. That's a problem. Okay. What are the solutions to prevent these problems from happening again? And he came up with all these ideas. And I was like, okay, put that into a series of actions that an individual could follow to prevent that error from happening again. It's like, okay, now you have a system. Now we need to hold that individual or team member accountable to ensure that that system gets followed to prevent the error from happening again, right? Most individuals don't have systems in place. And so the errors just happen nonstop every day, all day, which will bring an entrepreneur and your team into physiological needs and safety needs and just ping pong them. You're never going to feel as if you're never going to feel at your highest self if you're constantly solving problems and you never put a preventative measure in place to ensure that those problems don't happen again. That's the core definition of systems. My number one question is always, how could these issues have been prevented? So once I ask that question, then I can go into a series of actions to prevent it. So I'm going to give you an example. We had 4 jobs dropped in the same week. each of those jobs were ordered incorrectly. The crew showed up, calls rang out. We don't have this. We don't have that. Crisis erupted. And again, my first question to them was, how could this problem have been prevented? Answer was simple. Orders placed needed to be confirmed by packing slips that of the expected deliveries. The production supervisor is responsible and holds the accountability for doing this. And the systems need to be put in place for when problems arise in the chain of command. It needs to be trained and developed to block the owners from getting pulled in. So the packing slips are checked. The order is confirmed. Everything is there. We take full responsibility. The accountability is in place. If the error occurs, we know who to go back to. We immediately fix it, but the system should be followed to prevent the error from occurring, right? So until you as an owner can build a team that is self-sufficient with systems in place to allow them to win, it will be extremely difficult or nearly impossible for you to arrive at a higher level of the hierarchy of needs. You're constantly going to be getting pulled in. To close out this episode, I want to share a current experience that is unfolding for me. I'm learning this in the moment. I do not believe that as an entrepreneur, you can sustain the self-actualization phase of the hierarchy of needs without investments. What level of investments is unclear to me at this time. I would say at minimum enough passive income to cover all of your monthly living expenses. I do not believe that there is any amount of money that can be made in a business without investments that will allow an entrepreneur to live life at their highest self. You often hear 9-to-5 employees being referenced to being in the rat race. Well, what about the entrepreneur roller coaster? The hierarchy of needs shuffle, if you will. Building a business without the exit in mind is just crazy, in my opinion. The goal should be to get off the ride. As I'm learning, there are many levels to the ride. And the roller coaster can go really, really high with the drastic, crazy 100-mile-an-hour drops. I'm sure you've seen the not so funny video of the man stating, "I quit my 9-to-5 to start my own business to work 24 hours, 7 days a week." Is it the right trade-off? I believe so. Even if you don't implement all the things that I've just outlined, because you're still an owner, you get to control how big you grow. You get to control what you do. You get to control when you have off. You get to control who works for you. And you get to have a sense once in a while of self-actualization, which is purpose. So it depends on what you are building, how you are handling it, and what you plan to do with the finished product, which defines whether or not this is worth a trade-off for a 9-to-5. Well, purpose chasers, I've wanted to dive into this topic for a long time. There will be more thoughts and insights coming on this topic as more unfolds for me. Until then, remember, more revenue, less hustle. That's a wrap on this episode of the Purpose Chasers podcast. If you're ready to take action, don't wait. Head over to thepurposechasers.com to access notes, resources, and a host of other tools to keep you moving forward. And if you want to supercharge your digital presence, visit scaletosaleconsulting.com to partner up with my team and amplify your impact. Let's turn your purpose into your biggest asset. Until next time, keep chasing, keep creating. Your purpose awaits.